Hi everyone, it's Iffy, and this is my life in the chair. Today I'm going to be talking about why I do what I do, why I work in disability awareness, and essentially why my life in the chair exists. It's something that might seem like a natural progression, a natural next step to take after going through something so significant, and your life after that significant experience tends to revolve around that experience, or at least be heavily influenced by it. That's very much the case for me now. Everything I do in terms of my career is centered around my disability, but that wasn't always the case. I definitely went through a significant period of time where I didn't accept my circumstances. I didn't even entertain the idea that anything positive could come out of them, let alone being okay in any way, shape, or form with how I was. But to give you a good, a better understanding of why that was the case, why I felt that way, aside from the obvious, it'll probably help to paint a picture of what my mindset was like about disability before I had the injury. So I grew up in a society where disability is very much unseen. Disability, back then in Nigeria, was very much something that was looked down upon. It was a source of shame for many. It was something that would affect social lives, job opportunities, and just literally how people interacted with the world around them, and not necessarily in the best of ways. Unfortunately, I picked up on a lot of these backwards ideas or perspectives or beliefs on disability. It was the world around me. So growing up as a kid, like I didn't know any better, but I definitely did notice that the people I did meet with disabilities or hear about with disabilities seemed to go against the grain. They appeared to they appeared to go against everything that I'd been taught to believe, or like the world around me had made to seem it was the case. They were a lot more independent than I had thought. They were a lot more capable than I thought. But still, they seemed like the exception to the rule, just because of how prominent the narrative was that to be disabled was such a horrible thing. But I mean, I then actively engage with that mindset, and so long as things didn't affect me, I didn't pay them much attention. So after leaving secondary school, I moved to the UK. I went to college and started university over here, and started to rediscover. Started to discover myself. I started to learn a lot about who I was and who I wanted to be in life. I started learning to be an adult, being able to set my own priorities, being able to focus on my own goals, to set what those goals were as well, and to put the amount of energy I chose into the things that I chose to do. I mean, obviously within reason, and it was all an awesome experience. I focused on my career at the time, which was animation, or at least the path towards becoming a professional animator. I played basketball quite seriously, and all those things combined became a good source of my self image because they taught me how you could decide to be something, to decide to achieve something, set a goal for yourself, put work towards that, and achieve results. And that gave me a sense of value. That gave me a reason to think, oh, okay, my life means something. That gave me a sense of purpose, something to look forward to in life. Obviously, that all came crashing down when the accident happened. All that seemed to be wiped off the board at the time overnight, and I had to start relearning and relearn to live my life and rediscovering all these things I'd now lost, what my sense of purpose was, what my motivation for waking up each day was. Um, I had to rediscover my self worth. I had to rediscover what gave me value, and I was definitely not thinking in terms of embracing my conditions. I was thinking more of regaining what I had lost, regaining things as they were before my injury. And it took a while. It took a while. for me to come out of that mindset, but I wasn't able to do it alone. Aside from the support I got from my family and the professionals around me who were absolutely brilliant, crucial to me accepting my circumstances and moving forward with that in mind were the other people with disability that I met. The other people with spinal cord injuries that pretty much became mentors and guides to me. They used what they knew from their experiences to teach me and show me how things can be done, mistakes that I didn't need to make, or mistakes that I probably would make, but how to then address things after making those, and just things to avoid, things to look out for. Just basically give me a basic roadmap on how to navigate this new life that I had to at some point come to terms with. It worked. Um, I've come a long way since then. I've definitely accepted my circumstances to a large extent, but there's still a lot of work to do. Still a long way to go, and hopefully, I'll keep you guys updated as my journey on that continues with my life in the chair. But yeah, so as things got a lot more stable, I mean, we're talking at least 5 years into me having this disability, I started to appreciate the things I'd had before injury. I appreciated them a lot more now that I'd lost them, but I also appreciated the things that I could regain back where possible or replace with new things, and appreciating the fact that that was something I was even capable to do, because that was some credit that I needed to learn to give myself, the fact that I could still live day to day and make something of this horrible deck of cards that I've been given. But yeah, it was a massive time of rediscovering and acceptance of myself. But it also meant I could take a step back, take a breather, and look at the bigger picture. And one thing that stood out to me was the massive difference between my life before my life after injury. Um, where there were crossovers and similarities, but those are few and far between. The difference was so great, and it just kind of shocked me how there was no preparation for that. Not even in terms of, I'm not saying I wanted to have classes at school that taught you, oh, this is how you um, live your life once you have a disability. No, I'm just talking in terms of just being ready for adversity, being prepared to be open minded to tackle things that you'd never think you'd have to tackle. Just basic life lessons, or at least they seem like basic life lessons to me. The other thing I noticed was the difference in how people interacted with me. Everyone from my family to friends to strangers out in the street to work colleagues, and those differences, depending on what they were a big source of frustration, anger in some cases. It was clear like there were a lot of things they didn't know about disability, and that was a little annoying, but also eye opening. It was clear there's a lot of things they didn't know. So the difference between them and me, because I used to be them, I used to be in their shoes, having a lot of misconceptions about disability. The difference between them and me now was just knowledge I had. They didn't need to experience everything I experienced. So look, if they could get that knowledge, and I was now in a position to give them that knowledge, but straight away became very apparent that I that could be a possible purpose for me in life. Being someone who passes on that knowledge, helps to guide others in the same way I was guided by people who had the same experiences when I first got injured, and that helped give me a lot of peace of mind and clarity that people who were treating me differently now weren't doing it out of any negative emotions, or it wasn't coming from a bad place. They just didn't know how to tackle those situations. But as much as it gave me a lot of peace of mind, it also gave me a sense of purpose. Something needed to be done. And that's where I really started to entertain the idea of going to disability awareness. How that was going to take shape, what I would discover over time, but I was able to move forward with life because of what I knew. Knowledge was the key, and others having that knowledge was the key to them also being able to move forward with disability or around disability, that sort of thing. So yeah, that's essentially how I decided to start my life in the chair. Next thing I did was start a blog to just directly just tell people what I knew, share my experiences with them, give my perspective, and that was literally just me not having much of an idea of how to, approach that. I just started a blog, I started writing, and it started off well. It's going from strength to strength. It's doing amazingly, much better than I expected, ever expected it would. Around the same time, I started giving lectures and guest speeches at the university to unqualified students of healthcare, so nursing, physios, occupational therapists, even social workers. Through that, I met social workers in the local area in Middlesbrough Council, started giving talks for them, for newly qualified social workers. After that, I got um, a wonderful opportunity to work with Social Work England on their National Advisory Forum. I also started volunteering at some point within all of that, at the same part of the hospital where I got treated when I first got injured, and that was almost a direct way to put all the knowledge I had learned, all the knowledge I gathered over the years, and all the techniques I'd learned to pass on that knowledge, put it into um, put it into practice. Speaking to people who were literally going through what I went through in the time immediately after my injury. So yeah, that's essentially how my life in NHS started. That's how I got into disability awareness and why I chose disability awareness and why it's a passion of mine. So if you've got any questions about anything I've talked about today, feel free to drop a comment down below on whatever platform you're watching this. Or if you just want to chime in on anything I said talk about today, the same goes for that. You can drop a comment down below or reach me through any of my social media, which should be on the screen now. In the meantime, like the video, share, subscribe. The more interaction we get with the video, the more the video is put in front of other people. So if you felt there was anything useful or informative from everything I'll talk about today and you want other people to see it, then yeah, interact with the video. So like, share, subscribe, and I guess I'll see you guys next time. Can't wait for it, looking forward to it. And in the meantime, take care, stay safe, and stay blessed. Bye.